Well, yeah, I am. So that's when I can't stop the age thing. You know, it's the I then become really, really protective, perhaps overprotective, and it's quite hard because when you are older brother and someone's kicking off about your kid brother, you know, you gather around and you want to try and protect him. Not that he needs any protection. Not if any words ever hurt him at all.
What's the name of that big bodyguard he's got? What's his name?
Or Tony, I think you mean.
Yeah, it's Tony.
The bald guy.
Yeah. Well, actually, he's no longer in that role, should we say? But because of the real and present dangers, particularly in America, and there's been a few situations outside the back of the studios in American Idol when there's a few people who come back to have a go at Simon, that he's now put around him, thankfully, a very, very big and effective security team.
God, can you imagine?
And if you go in the house in LA and come down late at night to get a beer out the fridge, as I do, a big burly guy comes out and says, what are you doing down here? Look, I'm sorry, I'm just Simon's older brother getting a beer. So, you know, but fortunately these guys are there, and seriously, you can't creep around the house. This guy would come out as a kung fu out of a cupboard. You know, but you've got to have, it sounds odd, doesn't it, perhaps, but you've got to have that.
So if you're not going to answer my question, I can only surmise that really, perhaps on a more celebrity level, known level, Simon doesn't seem to be like one who would make an enemy. And the people maybe that would be an enemy would be those who get rejected on those talent shows by Simon or something like that.
There are the Simon knockers around. Oh, that's an odd word to use. I might have to change that. No, hey, we'll let it go, Paul.
We're back to the man press again, aren't we?
How do I get knockers on my brain? But most of those people, and they're isn't it odd? They're normally the people that didn't win the show, or they do, you know, they get this whole thing about they weren't given the right chance, the right opportunity. But in most cases, they're just being a bit grumpy about it.
It's definitely a tough position. I know I had another question here for you.
Good.
Oh yes, Paul has piped in with a question. What's going to happen, Tony, when your fame supersedes Simon's because of Fame Games? And you have the next Queen, the next Rolling Stones, and that was because of Tony Cowell.
Well, if that happens, it happens, and you know, I'm quite happy to embrace it. And yeah, in a way, I hope that happens. I really do, and I hope more importantly that it happens between what we're doing together here with Fame Games, because you know, whether you want me or not, I'm not going away. So yes, of course, it could happen, and but. As I said earlier on, I'm just watching the wheels go on here, the wheels go round, and I'm taking my time, and that's what I do. Because if we were to do something big with an artist that comes out of Fame Games, we want to do it properly.
Absolutely.
We don't want a cheap marketing, you know, one-off CD. We want a brand new star.
I'm going to add to DJ Crier's sort of summation there almost. The fact is that I kind of feel that you are as ambitious as your brother, but I think you're a little bit more subtle with it. And looking at what you're
saying,
doing,
he's classier, you realise that.
And looking at what you're doing and what you've just said, you're combining a couple of the passions in your life right now. Your journalism, because now you're reporting on what's happening in the celebrity world and you have a great insight. And now it looks like you also want to go for another of your passions, which is to get involved in the music industry.
Well, I don't think it's so much about getting into the music business. I leave that to somebody who's better at it than me in a way. But what I'm doing is I like to try and make people successful. I can't rid myself of that. You know, whether it's a new young writer or whether it's a new independent artist.
Or a budding new DJ or interviewer or
yeah,
whatever.
can I talk to you about that later, sir?
All right.
So it's about making things happen, I guess. It's not for me, and I think I said this earlier on, it's not about the making of money. It's not about that. Yeah. It's about making success. And success isn't always about money.
Absolutely.
And it comes right back down to the very, very, very first thing I talked about, which was when Simon said it was Tony's love of music that got him into that.
Well, yeah, I guess, you know, and it is true, and I'm so glad that I gave him a good grounding.
But what happened after that?
It all went downhill very quickly, didn't it? Robson and Jerome. Yeah.
This is your first time to actually visit Fame Game Studios in person. I know people may find that very, very, very odd, but we actually met at a charity event here. Then you went back to England. We actually made contracts by mail, by snail mail. Then we met in Las Vegas. First time here. What's your impression of the studios and the team?
Well, I absolutely love it here. I'm serious. I said to Ignacio outside that, I'm going to come back here because, I'm so used to doing now, it sounds like a bit blasé, but so used to doing these trips to LA and New York, Vegas with you, that, hours and hours on a plane. But suddenly I realised, of course, only 2 hours for me to get here. It's, why haven't I been here before? Yeah. But to actually see it, and again, watching what you do online and everything else, and just talking on the phone as we do, coming here is like, I'm glad I've done this because I see how it's all done, see the whole creative thing happen and how you do it. It's been absolutely brilliant for me, and I really mean that.
Well, I know the team has been so honored. I know Ashton is still flipping out, and I told her how much you love her, and Kristen, and because here they really, they're overcome by your celebrity, but at the same time still very flattered that you're taking a look at what we're trying to do for the indies. This little mission to help that self-releasing artist take a great song that's greatly written, produced in their home studio, but sounds stellar, can be in the charts, and help them cut through and not be a CD in a pile on an A&R man's desk, but be on the radio and have thousands upon thousands of fans say, that song moves me. And that's our little mission, and we feel very humbled by the fact that someone like yourself, who is part of CowellMedia, the Cowell world, is paying attention to that little mission.
What's a great speech, DJ Crier, and it's a little bit, the way I would answer that is that, you've got to have the passion for what you do. I have to do that, and say it's not about money, it's about I'm doing this because I believe in it. It's simple as that. Yep. And if I didn't have that passion, it's like that interview I did with that Jim Chancellor, the A&R guy, who said to me, I will only sign acts that I really feel the music for. Yeah. And I really got that about Tony. He's a totally different animal from Simon, and works in a kind of different world. We realise that in that part of the industry. It's an indie label he's got, and these bands like Snow Patrol that he has and that he found and made them into stars. But he will only sign people that he loves.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. Exactly what people sensed, the crew here sensed in you. It's like, wow, you get it. You enjoy it. Yeah. You're having fun. You didn't walk in and intimidate the hell out of us. That's what I think surprised everybody,
Yeah, I think, for me it would be too easy, too crass, for me to do a Simon, because I'm not Simon. Mm-hmm. I've got the same surname, but I do something differently. And for me to come in and start criticising the bands that I don't like on Fame Games or whatever, it wouldn't work. So
it wouldn't make sense.
Always, it's about being positive and about to give something back to these guys and hopefully help them on the road.
Mm-hmm. Tony, I've got to say, it's been a great pleasure meeting you. Obviously, you're on the global breakthrough chart every week, and we listen to your reports. They're great, and I think, one of the things that's really come out today is that you do give the indie artists that send so many, submissions and great music, the chance of an extra ear that's listening. As much as we're all here and we're all sort of analysing their music as best we can and pushing them as best we can, for them, it's great to know that somebody else is listening that possibly could have that extra little pull on a lever that might actually get them through. And apart from that, I know from talking to you yesterday and obviously speaking to you today, that it is a heartfelt thing. It's not just about success, it's about perhaps, I've reached a certain level and here's a ladder and why don't you come up here too? And I think that's very admirable.
Thanks, and I hope it has a long life.
So, what's happening next year, 5 years, 10 years? What can we expect from Tony Cowell?
Well, looks like another book's about to happen, or being born. But,
or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I shall continue happily along with Cowell Celebrity Gossip and the Cowell Factor, of course, which is my first love, and as well as you. So, onwards and upwards. And where's my new songs?
Exactly. More songs for Mr. Tony Cowell to review. Tony, we're not letting you go. We're now going to tape you to that chair. End of story.
Apparently I've heard he likes to be tied up.
Thank you, Sid, again.
Thank you. You've been listening to Tony Cowell here in the MMI headquarters live. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
The red carpet.